Decided to say no, thank you.
So you,
I need to drink more water.
the anxiety is going to take over in a few seconds.
No, it's more like my mind's going to go everywhere. So stop me when I start talking about stuff we shouldn't.
Stop talking, please, please. Okay, so welcome to the Movement Crew podcast, episode 5.
Episode 5.
5. We've traveled to Pretoria, Tiger Valley CrossFit.
It is Tiger Valley, eh?
It is Tiger Valley, not
Tiger
Tiger Valley.
Passports were required.
Passports were required. I was saying earlier, I actually took my shoes off to come here because I thought that was the done thing. But then they stopped me halfway at Atterbury and they're like, please put your shoes back on. This is not the south of Johannesburg. So we arrived safe and sound. I'm Dwayne Hearn. I've got Maddie Hearn over there. And as always, Rubes behind the camera. And today we are catching up with Celeste Engelbrecht. For those of you that don't know, she's a multiple games athlete. One-time game athlete, multiple regionals athlete.
Yeah.
There we go. And now busy prepping for the Commonwealth Games weightlifting. She's unsure about which weight division because we short a few kilos. But And are you excited to be on the podcast with us? How's your day been so far? Why did you get so dressed up for us? We thought you were going to come in your training clothes.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I'm very excited. I think this is something really positive for the CrossFit community in South Africa. So yeah, just ready to share my story, where I'm going, what's happening right now, competitions coming up, some traveling, and yeah, just life, I guess, which is something that I'm doing a little bit different this year than normal. But yeah, really, thanks for having me.
Well, I think before we delve into your deeper story, maybe you can give us just a list of the things you've accomplished within this community, within the CrossFit community, and maybe the strength and conditioning community within the last few years, and then we can look at how you got there and what your life story is and what you're getting up to. So, what have you done in the last little while?
Started CrossFit 5 years ago, competed at regionals in 2013, placed 4th when it was still just South Africa. The next year, competed at regionals, was still South Africa, then qualified for the CrossFit Games, which is obviously like our world champs in America against the best in the world. It's 7 days of competition. You get there on the Monday. It's brutal. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done. We can talk about that a little bit more in depth later. From there on, I fell in love with CrossFit. I've always searched for a sport to compete in after being a gymnast when I was younger. So competed the year after, got adrenal fatigue, found weightlifting in the process, competed a little bit in weightlifting, qualified for the Commonwealth Champs last year, Games this year, World Champs last year. So yeah, just a lot of comps, a lot of training, a lot of hours, hard work, but yeah, CrossFit, weightlifting the last 5 years in Joburg a little bit.
That's quite in terms of timeline, that's quite a short timeline to get such things done. Yeah. I mean, we've looked at, I'll say it for myself, I've looked at my own personal numbers in terms of weightlifting and the qualifying standards for something like Commonwealth, and the amount of time you actually have to put in is phenomenal, or immense rather, which it can be sometimes scary.
My background as a gymnast was, you know how to manipulate your body, you know how to move your body, and I came from that strength that it just took over in CrossFit, so
straight away.
Weightlifting. So the technique in the weightlifting, it took me 6 months to, learn that, and thereafter getting up to that level, or competing with someone like Mono who's been doing it for 16 years, it didn't take me long to get there because of my sporting background that I've come from. So I've definitely benefited from being a gymnast all my life.
So you say your sporting background, maybe you can give us a rundown on like your schooling years, what you were up to then in terms of sport, and did you, I know sometimes what happens, I'll speak from personal experience, do a lot of sport in school, after school it kind of little wobbly happens, and then you start finding things again. So maybe give us a background into your sport, and how did you find CrossFit?
I don't think I went to school to learn much. I actually went to school to do sport.
Okay.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
No, so from a young age.
What school was this?
Port Natal in Durban.
Port Natal.
Just repeat that, I'm very English.
Port Natal.
Well, I say we're going to have...
sounds more Portuguese than anything else.
We're going to have all these international viewers. Celeste Engelbrecht.
So yeah, went to school, just started competing. I think netball was probably where it all started, but I don't even know how my parents coped with me. At one stage I was like dancing, swimming, tennis, netball, athletics, gymnastics. So, I just did as much as I wanted.
So you actually didn't go to school?
No, I didn't go to school. I don't know how I made it.
What was your favorite subject in school? Tennis, hockey.
No, probably biology, just because it taught me a lot about being healthy, eating, diet, nutrition, the body, how the body works, how it moves. So yeah, that was probably one of my favorites. But I do recall always having my one friend tickle my hair and I'll be sleeping. So I don't really know how I made it through school, but my marks weren't too bad. Wasn't too bad, but yeah, just competed at a high level of gymnastics until I was about 16.
What age did you start your gymnastics?
I started quite late. I think I started when I was about 10.
Okay.
Where you would want to start when you're about 6. You would as soon
Yes.
as you can. So I started a bit late, but yeah, I got to that level quite fast as well. Trained hard, was addicted to it. I left all my other sports. I made the decision to pursue that full time. And then when I turned 16, I kind of wanted to start dating like all my other friends and partying and try and live a little. So I then played netball and Natal Colours, SA Colours, I think junior for a while, and then after school got a bursary at Tix for netball. Didn't last long. Partied through university. Didn't really train much. Rather just train to be skinny and fit into your jeans well. After university, I went to America for a bit. And actually there, when I was 22, the people that I was staying with was like, I think you should try CrossFit. And I was like, never. There's no way I'll ever do that. I don't want to look like those girls. It looks horrible. I never want to try it. And then it kind of stuck to me after I watched the CrossFit Games on ESPN. And I was like, maybe I should try it. Came back after a year and a half in America. And then...
What were you doing in America?
I actually went over as an au pair to start off with. And then I started studying personal training and did a nutrition course, did a PR and marketing course, studied digital marketing. Did a PR internship at the fitness magazine in New York City, then did a little bit of a PR thing at a PR firm in New York, and then I was like, I think I want to go home. It was never home.
How long were you there for?
A year and 6 months. So I came back home, and then I moved back to Durban and started training for my first fitness show.
Oh, yes. Okay.
model.
I totally forgot about that. How could I have forgotten about that?
I only did one.
Snap, I did one as well.
Where did you place in that?
Worst time of my life.
I didn't come top 3. I think I must have come 4th or 5th. But worst experience of my life. I still ate carbs, and Scott from the Yard Athletic helped me, diet, and my diet was quite balanced. It wasn't like I was cutting a lot of food or eating a little bit of food. But the whole process is just so weird. You train to pump your muscles. It's not really performance based, and then you eat a certain way to go and get into a bikini next to all these girls that all look good. Everyone should win because you're doing this. I did it for 6 weeks. I think they do 12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks.
Yeah, and it wasn't challenging enough. It wasn't hard for me to diet or eat like that. I like to eat clean most of the time. I just didn't enjoy it. It was actually quite sad for me to see that you get judged on who you are.
Well, it's also such a subjective thing from the judges because they can say what they want. So you can come in the best condition of your life, looking amazing in your eyes. You're like, I think I've got this.
Yeah.
And the next thing the judges go, that's not quite what we're looking for. We're more looking for that. It's like, oh no.
Didn't you go for fitness and they told you too hard and lean like a bodybuilder?
Yeah, I was in a fitness division. I was way too hard.
I had a 6-pack, so they were like, listen, you don't
Yeah.
fit
You got
into
a
the beach
six-pack
body,
in
but
the
you're too soft on your legs. And I was like, gee whiz, because this is
Where
who
do you guys
I am.
want me?
Way to make me feel good about myself.
So,
Thanks.
it wasn't something that really caught my I don't have energy and time for that kind of stuff. So the training was boring for me. It wasn't challenging enough. That I have respect for those girls. It is hard work. It's still, the diet, and I think that the level that they do it at, it is probably hard and stuff. Just not for me. So
when people come to you and they say, I'm going to do a body show, do you dissuade them, or you're like, no, go try it?
I'm very good at realizing people have different goals and different things that they want to achieve. So I'll never tell anyone to not do something. I always think rather try it first before saying no, or just see how good you can be. You might surprise yourself. I surely surprised myself with CrossFit. I was like, I'm never going to do it, and I was like, let me just give it a try and see what, if I enjoy it and if I can be good. And so maybe, you know, that person can be the next, I don't know, there's so many WBFF championships and stuff like that, so I can't keep up with that. But, you know, they could step on the international stage and make a brand out of themselves like most of these girls and have thousands of online clients. So, you know, there is a career within that. It was just not for me. So did that six weeks. When I was done, I ate a lot of rubbish, gained weight, started getting strong, and that's when Scott and Josh from the Art Athletic was like, hey, do you want to try CrossFit? We'll train you to win. And I was like, I'll do that.
Let's do it. Let's try.
Yeah, so
Okay, yeah, if you're going to train to win, I mean, I can't argue with that.
that was in September 2012. So September, and then the next year it was Opens and Regionals. I mean, it was my first Open, I think, well, I say that last year I did the 17.15 times as well. I managed to screw up the first workout. So I did the first workout like 5 times. The first time my camera bailed, and then I didn't have a timer, and I was an unaffiliate, and it was just a disaster. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But then, yeah, you kind of get addicted. It's like Discovery Health. You kind of see your name on a leaderboard, and you're like, okay.
How was it seeing your name on the leaderboard being a non-affiliate?
Nah, I don't really bug me that much, no. I kind of just wanted to, I don't do something half, so I kind of wanted to do it 100%. So my mindset after week 1 really changed, and I was like, you know, I'm competing with these girls. I didn't expect anything at start. So when I started seeing my name up there and saying like, hey, I'm not too bad, you know, I was like, I want to go to regionals. That sounds pretty cool. Went and watched a few videos of what it was like on the grass in Cape Town the year before. So I was like, and then I watched some international ones, and I was like, you know, I really want to do this. There was nothing else that I wanted to do more. So, yeah, I went to the first regionals. I was such a rookie. I mean, my hands were ripped everywhere. I had ripped from my legs.
2013.
Was the Standard Bank Arena?
Standard Bank
Yes.
Arena. I was a disaster. I mean,
Look,
yeah.
you weren't the only one. I mean, I remember, because we had athletes in that regionals as well, and pretty much every female heat, there were tears.
Yeah.
Because
All the
no one
time.
was really prepared to go to do all these movements.
At that stage,
And they're
my
just
one
crying.
max deadlift was like 100, and I think we had that deadlift
Box jump workout.
and I had to do 21:59, close to my max. I mean, I think I slept for 2 days after that, besides not being able to pass because my hands were like off and my legs were ripped. It was just like, yeah, and I think after that, it's very easy to go through a low and be like, oh, you know, where to next, what to, and I think that's where a lot of people are going to get stuck after the Open and regionals now. What do you do after that? So for me, I was like, I want to go to the games. So after I watched it in 2013, it looked pretty brutal, but cool. I was like, I want to do that. So yeah, I trained the whole year, obviously improved. That was probably the biggest improvement I made as an athlete. Strength-wise, movement-wise, gymnastics-wise, never aerobic capacity-wise, still not after 5 years. Yeah, competed at the following Open, went to regionals, won regionals by point, lucky, and then went to the CrossFit
No
Games.
such thing as luck,
There's
eh?
no such thing as luck.
You
Well,
trained hard, so
yes,
the
I
luck
did
found
train
you.
hard.
The luck found you.
2014.
That was
Yeah.
2014, and then went to the CrossFit Games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we go, I think we're going to go back again, but let's spend a little bit of time on your CrossFit Games experience.
Wow. So, it's really overwhelming. I think you get there and you see all these people, they look super fit. I actually remember Sam Briggs telling me like I was skinny because I was tall, probably one of the taller girls
Yes.
there. Very skinny. I don't have the muscle mass that most of those girls have. And the time, you know, a lot of them have been doing CrossFit for years. It was pretty new in South Africa at that stage. And you get there and you see the Rich Fronings and you see the Camille's and you're very overwhelmed. You're like, oh my goodness. But soon after that, I realized they're just normal people.
Yes.
It was awesome to be, and that's probably been an edge of mine since going to the games, competing locally, is they're normal people. They've just got such a drive to be better, to be their best. So it was really cool getting to know some of them, seeing how much the girls eat. You know, I had my little plate of food, I'll never forget it, and when I sat down and I looked next to me at what the girls were eating at the athletes dinner, I was like, okay,
Wowzers.
problem number 1, I don't eat enough. And they were even like, no, you can't just eat that. They had like chicken, steaks, everything in their plate. So that was really cool to see, and that's a big thing that I changed in that year is obviously eat more.
Were they quite open with you, like in terms of, like you say, they're just people, and you're saying now they're like, you can't just eat that. Were they quite open to have you in their circle or different
I'm not
circles,
shy,
different
so
cliques?
I kind of like probably forced myself into this
Yes,
circle more than
okay.
anything, but yeah, some of them were really nice, down to earth people. yeah, they're normal. They work hard, you know, for the level that they're at, and they were very happy to share stuff with me and give me advice. And because the weekend is brutal, you kind of grow closer to them as friends because everyone is suffering.
Yes.
And, you know, they might be doing the 333 faster than me, but between me, Cara, Webb, everyone just fell into the ice bath one after the other, you know, and we're in there together. It's very close and personal. And we're all suffering as much. If they probably suffer more because they're pushing that much harder than I could. So yeah, you really get to know them. They share, they help. If you need a belt, if you need a skipping rope, I think I left my skipping rope at the hotel, and you know, someone helped out with the spare one straight away. So yeah, very just down to earth people giving you advice. You know, I think that there is still an edge of competitiveness, but that's part of the sport. You know,
Yes.
You're not going to give away all your tricks and ideas and stuff like that. So there are obviously questions that people don't want to answer, but I must say, yeah, just normal people are the one thing you'll notice if you do come in contact with them is that their drive to win and to be better is like, that's the biggest thing that I can pick up from them as people.
Did you get what you wanted out of the games, out of that experience, or did you leave there with any regrets, or how did it pan out for you towards the end?
I don't have any regrets. I'm glad I went. It was a brutal competition. Like when I was done there, I could definitely feel, you know, healthy-wise. I was always tired, always wanted to sleep, didn't have an appetite. So throughout the weekend, I probably didn't look after my body like I should have. I should have eaten more and, you know, rested when I could. But I was so excited, and you kind of want to watch all the other heats and all the other people. So your first experience there, it is very overwhelming. You want to watch what everyone's doing. I think I learned a lot, so I don't have any regrets. It taught me a lot. I grew as a person, as an athlete. I just was never ready to go. You know, I was very new to CrossFit, so I did do a little bit of damage to my body. I had adrenal fatigue for a year after that, which I really struggled to come over. And I can still feel now when probably because I don't have the aerobic base that I should have to compete at that level. I can feel my body. I know when I need to like back off of training, when I'm not eating enough, when I need to sleep more. So, and I do think it's because I went to the games and I was never ready to compete. I mean, it was literally brutal. It was at one stage after the 333, I was like questioning whether I can actually go on or not. It's not because I can't do the stuff. It's the whole situation. It's warm. You're not in your comfort zones. You don't have your food. You don't have your mats that you always roll on. You know, you don't have a pillow and a blanket. Whereas those girls have done this so many times. They've got their cooler boxes.
Yes.
They've got their blankets, their pillows. They know where the shops are. You know, it's just for us going there. We didn't rent a car at start, so we weren't as prepared. So you know, you learn these little things that I've now done in my competitions that I competed locally, and then when you do have those things, you're just a lot more comfortable and confident to just focus on competing rather than all the little other things, you know. So yeah, I learned a lot. I have absolutely no regrets about going to the games. Do I want to go back? Not right now. Not ready for it. It's actually not something that it's not on my to-do list over the next few years. Definitely looking at it when I hit 35, Masters division. So yeah, I really just, someone said to me the other day, they really want to know what it feels like what it would feel like when they're at their best, their fittest, their strongest. So for me, I know I'm strong, you know, to compete in CrossFit. My movements aren't bad, but I really want to know what it feels like to compete at that level when I'm my fittest.
Yes.
So the next few years, I'm just going to change my focus a little bit in terms of my training, and then I want to feel what it feels like that when I'm my fittest.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
say,
my
oh,
fittest
build your
yet.
tank.
Yeah, I really want to build my tank. I want to, you know, run more.
I think the biggest problem with being strong and moving well is that you can get away with so much.
Exactly.
With the tank.
There's a lot of leeway.
So you can have all these athletes they're super fit, but maybe they don't move as efficiently, and you drill them until the 20-minute mark comes in, and you're like, oh no.
20 minutes.
You know,
I hit that mark after
12 minutes, yeah, maybe 12 minutes.
And I think
Okay.
locally I've gotten away with that for
Yes.
a few years, but it's not the case anymore. And we saw that at Fittest in Cape Town. You can't have any weakness anymore. The girls and the guys have really worked hard, and they've stepped up the game over the last year, I would say, more so than the years before. So, yeah, there's a handful of athletes that are, you know, stepping it up, and you can't just think because you can move well and you're strong, because the girls are getting stronger, they're getting fitter, they're moving well, and they're training hard. So you can't get away with that anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned adrenal fatigue, and I don't want to frighten every viewer with adrenal fatigue, but it's obviously, it was a bit of a buzzword last year as well. A lot of people overtraining, under-eating, not looking after their nutrition properly or not looking after their bodies properly. How did you find out it was adrenal fatigue, and what did you take? What steps did you take? Did you just back off, or was it a little bit more aggressive that you needed to take care of the problem?
After the games, I just dropped a lot of weight, like dropped 5 kilos in a week, that had no appetite. I would wake up after sleeping 9 hours, wake up and I'd just be tired. My performance was down. I didn't know, I don't even have a personality, you know. And I think it's easy to happen after a big competition. Like I say, after the Open or regionals, you kind of don't know where to go. It's like from games to the next season, it's long. We all just wait around for the Open, and we look at this year, it just goes by so fast. So you work so hard, and I know it's happened with many girls. You put in the hours, you put in the work, you think you're training hard, and you get there and you're just not good enough, you know. So I think the disappointment in that also helped, but for me, my adrenal fatigue came because I wasn't eating enough. So my body just crashed. My coach realized my numbers were going down. I couldn't lift weights. I had no energy. I was sleeping a lot, so they were like, listen, when did you do your hormones? And I was like, well, I never do my hormones. I've never tested my hormones. I just know I'm losing a lot of weight. So worked with the endocrinologist from America. Was freaking expensive, so I gave up on that idea. Then started working with the endocrinologist in Rosebank, and when we did my hormones, I had no hormones. Like my estrogen and my cortisol was sky high, and the rest of the stuff was just non-existent. My liver function was bad. You know, as a girl, sorry for the overshare boys, but you don't get your period anymore. You just, I was miserable. I wasn't healthy. I could feel it. Like you feel like you're in a different person's body. So after I did the blood work, they were like, hey, you have adrenal failure. Like your adrenals are struggling. And it's the funniest thing, because I would wake up in the morning and I'd be so tired, and come like bedtime at 8 o'clock at night, I'm awake. Now I feel like I can train and do stuff.
Your cortisol's all out of whack.
Yeah, so it's like common signs of stuff. And I think that's where a lot of people's performance and, you know, your progress stops, because growing up in South Africa, we don't come from schools that have these sporting facilities and doctors and, you know, endocrinologists and nutritionists and stuff. So you don't focus on that. You just think, oh, well, I'm overtraining, maybe I need a deload week. But it's not the case. I was killing myself slowly and wanted to compete at a high level. But when you look at my hormones, you go, high performance athletes' hormones don't look like that. You know, it was non-existent. So I had to back off of CrossFit for 3 months. It was pretty hard. I had to go for like hikes and walks in the sun and sleep a lot, and I had to cut out coffee and meats for a few weeks just to get my liver functioning better.
And your body to produce your normal stimulants.
Just to, and gain a bit of weight, you know. I think as a CrossFitter, a lot of girls just want to be lean and small, but you need that little bit of fat to recover and, you know, have that extra bit of store.
And to bounce out the squat.
Yeah.
To feel the weight.
The Camille pooch, that's it.
So it was just a process that I had to go through. I think I did blood work, if not every month, every second month for a year, just to see how everything was going. Also stopped using supplements. I don't think since then I've used like creatines and whey proteins.
This is really not going well for any of our supplement sales. So
Jay just did the same thing.
Jay did the same thing. I don't really use any supplements.
I don't use it anymore. You know, I'll use like omegas and vitamin D, on whey protein, but it just messes up your gut. So I just started eating real food, ate a lot more, gained my 5 kilos back, slowly started training again. And just focusing on strength training more so to just build my hormones back up. And a year later, I think it was the first time that I had normal hormone levels when I tested. So, and I could feel the difference. I was just more energetic, had a personality. You know, I could actually cope with training 6 hours a day. Whereas before, you know, I just didn't even have the motivation to go and sit on the air bike and walk out.
But it's a fine line. You're playing a very, and some people don't realize this, because I've gone through a similar experience. Mine was adrenal, but also a little bit of burnout and depression from coming out of competition season and then going, what's the meaning of life type of thing, and just completely flattening myself for a year. Yeah. And people don't realize you're playing this fine line all the time if you want to try to be a competitive athlete, especially with CrossFit, because it's so taxing on the body, is that, are you healthy? Are you fit? And this line in between, you can just go off the fit or off the healthy and right down into sickness. And that's, I think, the big difference between what you've got is the CrossFit Games and CrossFit being very separate entities.
Yeah, no, it was a very big lesson for me because at the end of the day, you can't compete at that level if you're not healthy and you don't focus on that. You just think, I need to eat more, I need to use more supplements, I need to train harder. And then after a while, you just get to a competition and you've got nothing. So yeah, it was a very big lesson, and I put my health first now, and I can see over this last year I haven't trained as hard, but I can still compete at that level just by being healthy. You know, and having a little bit more balance, focusing on eating healthy, clean, and training smart, because I think a lot of people make the mistake that they need to go into the gym and kill themselves all the time. But it's really not necessary, and most of the top athletes don't train like that. So, you know, you don't always have to go into the gym and kill yourself. You need to listen to your body. Take it easy, you know, take it easy when you need to, and train hard when you can. And I think if you can get the right balance for you, it's different for everyone, then yeah, you'll grow as an athlete every year.
So you mentioned you struggled with your aerobic capacity the last
I
5
still
years.
do.
So what are you doing about it? Like reality check. So we know you're going to the Commonwealth Games.
3 reps instead of 1.
Yeah. So
now it's just 1 rep.
I mean, if you look at my open performance over the last 5 years, every single time there's an aerobic or endurance workout, I almost come dead last. So I'm really sick of that. One of my friends, Michaela Norman from, I think she's Norwegian or Danish. She's now also, or Swedish actually. She's also, like I said, she's not competing this year because every year she does the open, every year she does regionals, and she gets there and she just sucks at the strength stuff because she's really super fit. And it's the same for me. Every year I go and compete, and when there's a long workout or there's endurance stuff or the recovery over a competition weekend like regionals when it's really tough, it's just not good enough. So this year, obviously I went through a bit of a change personally last year. Partied a little bit, relaxed a little bit. So when I'm ready after the Commonwealth Games, I'm just going to focus on building my tank for the next year, and then do opens, regionals, games properly next year. So I'm going to either take on Chris Henshaw for the rest of the year. I do work with the program John Singleton, but I think Chris Henshaw's stuff is a lot more on the track, and when I run, I get fitter. I know my body, so I just want to do a proper base program for a while, and see if I can get my tank up there. I think I'll need a year, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a year.
I'm a Henshaw fan. I think.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with the athletes that he is working with, and quite frankly, some time out of the gym is going to do me good. So.
But I think that's a big thing that South African athletes are missing. A lot of South African athletes. Everyone's obviously attracted by the barbell. We understand that why. It's fun. You can get some PBs. It's glamorous. But no athletes want to hit that track for an hour or the assault bike and sprint it out. Even our normal athletes, the GPP guys, if we tell them we're running a 5K,
nobody arrives.
Nobody arrives to class.
You know, I think the biggest mistake I did as a CrossFit athlete, it was a mistake, but it also benefits me a lot locally, was I got super strong and my gymnastics was really good. But now to compete at that level, if you look, you can kind of gauge, okay, this girl is strong, so I know she's going to beat me in that, but then she sucks at her gymnastics, so I know I can take her there. And you can I do that. I kind of manipulate myself through a competition to win because I know where I can kind of give and take. But as soon as you go overseas, then you get someone like Camille. She can run a 5K super fast. Her gymnastics is like amazing. She weightlifts amazing. So you're competing at that level. There's no room for having a hole. And I saw that probably in Dubai the most when I competed at the Dubai competition. Was like these girls, they row good, they run good, they swim good, they lift good.
No holes.
So they've just got no holes, and I focused too much on my strength training and gymnastics the first 3 years of my CrossFit career, and I never built a base. So that's why I was dying a slow death as a competitor internationally. And right now I just feel you kind of need to back off of competition, back off of, let your ego go of being the best in South Africa or in your country, and just go, listen, let me just work on my weakness. And that means taking time off of competition, and really going to the track every day and running and getting fitter, spending time in the pool, following a program. It's going to take me a year. I know my body. So I'm going to focus now when I get back. I can't do it now for Commonwealth Games, but when I get back, I'm going to focus on my aerobic capacity for a year.
You'll get results out of it. I mean, I don't know if you've followed any of Henshaw's program.
I have.
His program's phenomenal. And he sets really these cool little milestones.
Yes.
His feedback is really, really good.
Well, I mean, if you look at Rich Froney walked 1 year, I mean, the one year he walked in the run, and then he started running and started swimming and got his aerobic capacity up.
Yeah.
Like,
If you don't know where it is, just go to aerobiccapacity.com.
it'll
Yeah.
be there.
It's
Yeah.
there.
I've done his program, and I think it's something, it's something that I've lacked as a competitor and as an athlete for years. So I'm really sick and tired of that. No more excuses. I'm just going to put in the work for a year and see what I can do. So, and then do a proper competition next year after having a bit of a break. It's been a long 4 years.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
had some improvements. I remember you at Africa Champs on the last workout. It was that long
Yeah.
chipper workout, and you won that workout.
Yeah.
And you didn't think you were going to win
No.
that workout. And that workout led you to winning the comp.
Yeah.
Because I think if you didn't
You
win
know
it,
what?
it was
I
going to be
think-
super tight.
At that stage, I was really in a good space with my training. I was training hard. I was heavy, lifting heavy. I was in great shape. I got really lean for SA Champs. So everything came together quite well. And then after that, I've taken a bit of a break. Just
Okay.
mentally a bit tired. And you can't approach a competition like that. I saw that in Fitness in Cape Town. I kind of just did it for fun and didn't really care. And that's not who I am. So, I think it's also important for an athlete to realize, hey, I need to take a step back, have a break, find my energy again, find my love for the sport again, enjoy the hard work. And I can honestly say now I'm having fun with my training, and when I'm ready to enjoy the hard work and my hours again, I'll start when the time comes.
Lovely.
Nice.
Let's go. Lovely. I think let's go back in time again, and then we can kind of move towards what you're up to now in your space and what you're kind of doing. But in the beginning, you were obviously training in a non-affiliate. You were training at the Yard. Would you say that? Well, two questions around this. Was the community accepting of you in the beginning, being this kind of rogue agent coming from a non-affiliate and just smashing everyone? And then two, were you doing classic CrossFit stuff training there? Obviously, they weren't allowed to call it CrossFit what you were doing, or how was the training different from the Yard to what everyone else was doing that allowed you to go from year to year?
So, was the community accepting? I remember, Mary and I are really good friends, Mary Jameson, but I can remember she hated me. So, I think it is a hard pill to swallow, but for me, it was never really trying to be unaffiliate or not, it was just, I started at the Yard.
Yes.
They gave me the opportunity to do that. And I thought that was going to be the best for me at that stage. So it was never about, I don't want to be a CrossFit gym, At that stage, I kind of didn't even know what the whole affiliate thing means versus not being an affiliate. So
Because sometimes it's more important to other people that are kind of involved in that.
For me, it was kind of, I just wanted to train and I wanted to compete. I didn't really care whether I was affiliate or unaffiliate. I knew I could compete at regionals as an affiliate, and that was all that mattered. And I think after being at the regionals in 2013, a lot of people's opinions about training and CrossFit and whatever had changed a little bit, and I did get respect from just coming in as a newbie in the sport and being competitive with girls that have been doing it for a few years. And then training at the Yard. The Yard is different in the sense I didn't do CrossFit at start. I focused on my movements, I focused on getting strong, I did strict work, strict handstand push-ups, strict pull-ups. I got strong, spent time on my technique and snatch, clean and jerk, deadlifts, squats, and then did high intensity fitness stuff. So it was a little bit more programmed, individualized, focused on me as an athlete, and that's what they do there. We at the stage there was like 15 box owners that were training there.
So super goal orientated.
Yeah, I think it's very individualized. It's very, the programming is individualized. They look at you as a trainer. And, our belief at the Yard is not, if you're not competing in CrossFit or in weightlifting, the GPP person doesn't have to necessarily do a snatch and a clean and jerk. So that's their approach. Works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. It doesn't mean that their view of what CrossFit does. CrossFit has done phenomenal stuff for the whole fitness industry,
Yeah, for sure.
including gyms like the Yard Athletics. So for me, it was just, I think I did get an advantage though because of the education that Scott has behind him and the expertise that he works with in terms of Strong First, Joel Jameson, just getting my performance up that notch. I think I did benefit from it, and it showed because a lot of people that do have boxes and train at CrossFit boxes left there and came and trained under him. So I could see the benefit that they had as well. And that was just the difference. I did do some CrossFit stuff. I mean, Scott can't teach me how to do a butterfly pull-up and a ring muscle-up. We kind of watched videos, and then I tried it, so I kind
So
of
it was
taught
still
myself.
it was still
So
in
I
the
guess
days.
we all started.
Yeah, it was in the days where we were all trying to figure out everything.
Yeah, so I,
YouTube was the coach.
yeah, you know, they couldn't teach me CrossFit. They kind of, I Googled the workout, or we would sit there and we'd be like, what is this Diane and Fran thing? Let's just try it. This girl did this, so, you know, let's see where you're at. And yeah, but most of the time our program was, you know, there's a lot of periodization, a lot of programming. For me as an athlete, my movement, my mobility, stability, getting stronger, making sure everything's working right. So it's a lot more structured in terms of you're not just going in there and doing a workout as fast as you can and as hard as you can. So, but yeah, you know, sometimes CrossFit is very varied. So you get to a competition and you only get the workout 5 minutes before you go. So I also needed that. And that quickly, I realized I need to get out of the gym and go and train with people like Jason and Richard. You know, I would go there and just train there and be like, okay, cool, what we're doing today. Because CrossFit has, if you want to be a competitor, you need to be prepared for the unknown, like they call it. So I needed to go to different gyms and just drop into a class and do the workout and be like, okay, well, that's a chest to bar pull-up, that's how I do it. So when you see someone next to you and you try it, you know. So that's kind of what I did at start. I used to go and visit a lot of boxes, made a few friends. Mary and I trained a lot together when we did become friends after a while. So visited Jason and Richard a bit. Last year I trained with Ruan a lot at his new gym, CrossFit Arkin. So yeah, but
What happened to you? What happened to the
Team.
team?
What happened to the
What
team?
happened to
Where
the
did they
team?
all go?
Dave, Cash, and
Everyone
Phil, our
was
team.
ready.
We were
They
all
disappeared.
waiting. We were all
Listen, we
waiting.
would have done very
Yeah, we
well.
all
We
thought it
still
was
think,
coming
what
out.
did we say? We said, we met the other day and we said that was the dumbest idea to drop the team.
Yeah, we thought you all
You should have just kept the
So
team.
basically what happened is we got together, awesome vibe, awesome team, trained hard, it was really cool.
Because you
and
guys
then
really did train hard for a
Ruan
time.
was first. Ruan was like, I'm going individual.
You're a dumbass.
Yeah, Ruan, come on,
He
bro.
killed Team Arkin. So he was like, no, he's going to go individual, and then I
Ruan, if you don't make it to the games, jeez, you're going to be in trouble.
fired.
Fired.
And you're not my friend anymore. And so yeah, he pulled out first, and then I kind of chatted to him because we were really good friends, and I was like, I don't know what I must do. And then obviously I went through a few personal changes in my life, so I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to compete. Then I know, so Celeste, Lisa, and Brandon, and Gerard obviously moved back to PBM, and I was like, I'm not going to drive all the way there to go team with you guys all the time. But now I'm in Pretoria all the time, so it just doesn't even make
This
sense.
is even further.
I know.
This is far.
So
I
yeah,
suppose
we kind of
it's from where
just
from?
we kind of all just decided that they were going to go team, and it was also hard. You know, Lisa and Celeste, they work really well together. So for me to just go and jump in there, you know,
Yes.
I think that they would be a good team whether I was part of it or not. So I just decided I wasn't going to do CrossFit this year, not even do the Open. I kind of was forced into doing it. So yeah,
You must do it.
now I'm doing it.
You must
I'm
do it.
doing it.
You're sitting top 20 though.
I know.
Yeah.
15.
16, 15.
If I didn't do so bad in the
Hey,
top 10.
imagine you had an aerobic capacity.
Exactly. Next year.
I think the last workout might have something.
I think the last workout.
It's going to be snatches and chest to bars.
Do you think snatches and chest to bars,
Yeah.
eh?
Well, I don't like it.
Are we going to talk about this now? We're
I was
going to get
thinking
into this.
thrusters.
Let's get into
Because
this.
there's been no thrusters.
Thrusters, chest to bar, and a 1 rep max snatch.
Oh, I love it.
Hey? It's my
But I don't
workout.
What
think
about
that
box
that's gonna
jumps and
be-
wall balls?
I don't think that's going to be the case, but whatever it is, we'll just do it and we'll see if I qualify, and then I'll have to make a decision after Commonwealth Games if I'm going to go to regionals as an individual, or maybe do team fun for this year. We'll see how it goes. There's a possibility that we go team.
Is it, eh?
Nice. Which is good place.
Yeah, you should just go.
Yeah, just being a team and just go.
Yeah, so I'll make a decision when I get back.
Where were we? We took a bit of a sidetrack there. We all got so
Talking
excited.
about-
We all got so excited. Programming.
Yeah, it was programming, and then we asked about what happened to their team, and then
Yeah.
Ruan
Oh,
killed
yes.
it.
Ruan
Yes,
killed
Ruan
it.
killed the team.
Well, so how has your training changed from those days to now? Like you say, you train a lot smarter. So do you just follow? Do you go in any GPP classes? How do you get involved?
So it's
Give
been
us some.
so from about after African Champs last year, I kind of just started partying a little bit and living a little bit. So this is my year of balance. I just want to live a little bit and not say no to things that I would normally say no to. Have a birthday party for my 30th and not just focus on the Open. I'm just doing 18.5 once on Friday, and then I'm having my 30th birthday on Saturday.
Nice.
So training has changed a lot. I used to train 6 hours a day. I used to sleep, eat, train, and that used to be my life from Monday to Sunday. So yeah, this year I'm doing things a little bit different.
How were you able to do that?
I wasn't working.
Okay.
I wasn't working.
Because I think that's a big thing. Everyone thinks, okay, I'm just going to try squeeze it in here, squeeze it in there. We know Jay obviously does 3 in the morning.
I don't know how Jason does it. Jason needs to have like a podcast or like a live feed of just his whole day life.
Hey, look, we've tried to pull it out of him, eh? He gave us bits and
He's like
pieces.
superhuman. He definitely has the genetics then because I don't. I have to sleep. Like I love sleeping. The music can be loud in the gym and I can sleep right there. But yeah, I used to do it full time. If you want to compete at that level, if you want those kind of results and you want that standing on the open or at regionals and possibly making it to the games, it has to be a full-time thing. The girls that you're going to be competing with and the guys and the teams, these people are doing it full-time or they are coaching here and there or running gyms to be able to compete. So, yeah, I had a big shift in my life, like I said earlier, so I started working more, running the Yard Athletic, coaching there from 5:30 in the morning until 10 and then in the afternoon again. So I basically only have 4 hours to try and train twice, weightlifting and CrossFit, and eat and try and have a power nap and do admin. So yeah, life has dramatically changed over the last bit. If I get an hour in of training a day, I'm happy. And that's been weightlifting focused now, going up until the Commonwealth Games. Next week I leave on Tuesday. So I've just been focusing on my weightlifting, probably getting like 1 or 2 CrossFit workouts a week from Jan till now. Which is, yeah, I think I've recovered, my body feels good, my joints feel good. And yeah, this morning I woke up and I was like, I'm just going to jump into the Tiger Valley 7:30 class. So I did the class and it's actually really cool. You compete with, pair up with different people and people are quite competitive in this environment.
Yeah, they're so competitive in the GPP.
Yeah, they all kind of like watch each other and the boys want to beat the girls want to beat the boys. So yeah, for me it's a lot more fun than training by yourself. CrossFit, and if you want to be at that level, can be quite lonely and selfish. So I totally jumped in. I've jumped into a lot of classes here, since I've been training here at Tiger Valley. And spending more time in Pretoria. So yeah, definitely jump into a class. It's short and sweet and it's hard. Like you kind of, get tired of sticking to your program all the time and, focusing on that.
That intensity in the classes can go right up. Like some that you don't do on your own.
By yourself.
Yeah.
So I do.
You don't know what you're getting.
Some guys in the class are willing to die before you beat them.
Yeah, so I work with John Singleton. I do his generic programming that he does for the program. Then some days I look at it and I'm like, geez, he's crazy. I'm not doing this today. So yeah, I just leave the workouts and I jump into the class here or just do weightlifting. So about an hour and a half a day, I have about an hour for my training. So just focusing on different things this year, working a little bit more, coaching a little bit more, which has been really fun.
Why Tiger Valley? I mean, it's a long way from where you live.
I don't know, Ruby. Take a guess.
I don't know, you have to tell us.
Well.
Yeah, it's really nice to put the people on the spot.
I'm hanging out on this side of the town now.
Okay. We'll save you.
We'll save you from that.
What's more important? So I asked Jay this question, and his was slightly different because we only included 2 categories. Yours, I'm asking specifically differently. So I said, what's more important, having a coach or having training buddies? But for you, I'd actually add in there what's more important, and you can put it into an order if you like: a program, a coach, or training buddies. Like, what would if you could drop one, or would you put at the top of the triangle?
Which is the top, middle, bottom?
I would say coach. When John does travel to South Africa, I see the benefit that it has. He's worked with really good athletes like Sarah, Bjorkvan, Lucas Esslinger and stuff like that. So he can always see where I'm lacking. So I do feel he doesn't need to be with you all the time, but I think if you've got a coach that has the experience and games athletes behind him, he can identify weaknesses, tell you what you need to focus on, tell you what you need to work on. He's been really cool in terms of just a friend and just noticing where I'm lacking. He knows where my mind is at, what's going on in my life, so he can tell me listen, just chill, back off on this, or go hard on that, or let's focus on that. So I think I would say coach, and then with the coach kind of comes the program, and then I feel like training buddies are good. You have to be with the right people because people are weird. They don't always grant you success, so that you're not always going to get the best feedback from that. And also, for instance, Mary and I, good friends, training buddies, but I know what her strengths are, I know what her weaknesses are, so when we do a workout together, she knows when it's rowing and burpees, she's going to absolutely annihilate me, and I know when it's gymnastics, I'm going to absolutely annihilate her.
You actually slack off in certain places.
Slack off and give, so I think because CrossFit is so varied, you need to kind of train with different people all the time and go to competitions and test yourself in that environment because it's very different than what you do in the gym. And it will show now with people in the open and going to regionals, being in your comfort zone and being with the same people all the time and training, it's not always the best thing for you as a competitor when you go out there and you like get onto a plane, go to the ranch and you've got no coach, no friends, no food, no nothing, and you're kind of like, okay, what do I do now? So I think just try and train with different people, with different strengths, different weaknesses.
We kind of say this all the time, but unfortunately, like we all live very, very busy lives. But you see the athletes in the States, if you follow their social media anyway, they're always visiting other athletes all over the place. And in SA, the guys
Dan
don't.
Bailey
The guys don't do it.
Yeah.
Dan Bailey just arrives at the door. Hey, how's it going? Can I stay here for a month?
The guys don't do it. They all get stuck in their little either their teams or their what we call it a crew, a clique, whatever the case may be, and then they just end up training in those. I think it'd be so beneficial if you could say, like, go find other people.
It's nice to see you sort of training at this stuff. And like when you asked us earlier, even before we started the podcast, like, well, why are you guys doing this? And this is probably it's probably the biggest catalyst for us to be recording these podcasts is we want to be able to share information in the South African community.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll drive other athletes to go and train with other athletes, develop more coaches. You know, I would actually like to see a South African coach successfully get somebody to do well at the games as well.
Yeah.
That I think then we're in an even better space.
Yes.
Because then we have someone developing
and sharing
athletes.
knowledge. And, that's what it's about. It's really about sharing knowledge.
Yeah, I think for me, training out, I train with Fred and Jock, Sean and stuff. There's a lot of different kind of athletes here. There is their little crews within the whole big crew, but like I trained with a girl this morning. She's a dancer, so aerobic base is so big. So it's like I saw actually how I'm not training hard enough because she did the calories on the row like 10 times faster than me. She's not a regionals or.
She's like, do you want to go? Do you want to? No, I'm fine.
You can go. You go.
I think just getting out of your comfort zones more so and training with different people and learning, just share what you've learned, So that's like a big thing for me right now. There's a lot of young girls and up and coming masters athletes and stuff that I do online programming for, and I just share to them, what it is about, and also just being realistic of where you're at. You cannot want to, compete at that level if you're working 8 to 5, if you can't sleep and eat and train, put in the hours. So just be realistic of where you're at and, expect the results from that. Like this year, I've not trained that hard. So for me, sitting 15th in this open is really a surprise, but I didn't expect any of that because I know the work and the time that people like Jason and Ruan and then put into it. So
and what you used to put into
what
you're putting in now.
So. But definitely, I think a training buddy is a hard topic. It can either work, but I don't think you have to have a training buddy. I think me training by myself, you have to also learn when you're on that competition floor by yourself and you need to push hard. So
I think it is a bit selfish, the sport.
Very,
or any sport, really.
Very, very selfish. But you've got to learn how to switch on, and I think you don't have to do that in every training session, but like 1 or 2 a week, you need to learn to like really hold on and push. And if you can do that, then you can be competitive.
I think it's we're obviously speaking on from an athlete's point of view, and like you say, people have to be realistic with themselves as well. It's not all about CrossFit. Isn't necessarily about competing.
No.
You can get competitive in your boxes and all that jazz, but essentially we're trying to make people healthy.
The biggest thing that I've learned, and I see that now being more involved in like a manager role and a coaching role, and that's something that I'm going to pursue over the next year, is at the end of the day, someone's walking into your doors because either they want to get into shape, they want to lose weight, they want to get healthier, or they just want to stay fit. So, it is like you say, I think CrossFit isn't just about competing, and it is a big way to drive, because I don't know if I would go into the gym and train hard if I didn't know that I've got regionals or Commonwealth Games coming up. But I think there is different ways that you can measure your progress and your success, and people need to remember that people are stepping into your doors because they either want to get stronger, they want to get results, they want to lose weight, they want to stay fit and healthy. So you kind of can measure their competitiveness and their progress on that as well. You don't necessarily need to go to a competition to measure that.
A very small percentage walk into the gym and go, hey, I really want to compete in this sport.
Yes, exactly. So
1 or 2 will walk in your doors and be like, I want to be
They've normally come from another gym.
And it's sad for me. It's like, it is sad because I have been to many CrossFit gyms overseas, and and locally, and you kind of see it's almost like the same people walking on the treadmill in a Virgin Active. It's like the same people are still snatching bad, clean jerking bad, are still overweight, and just like stuck, you know. And for me, I think that's where there can be a very big growth in the sport, and CrossFit in South Africa is just if you really focus on a person and an individual and take them where they're at now and walk a journey with them to really figure out what is their best, their fittest, their best in shape. Because if I can do it, anyone else can do it. So it doesn't necessarily need to be someone that is talented. I wouldn't say that I've got good genetics to be able to be in shape, and you know, I just surrounded myself.
I'm sure people will argue with that.
No, it's hard work, you know.
Yeah, it's
I
very
eat
hard work.
healthy, and I've learned to say no to things, and I train hard. I eat good food, and I've gone out and paid my school fees to mingle with people that know what they're doing in the sport and to teach me the right way. So you know, it's just time and effort, and money, you know.
Yeah, it all comes at a cost.
Yeah. It's all.
Let's go into weightlifting a bit, because what are we doing there time-wise? Yeah, no, we're hundreds. We're hundreds. So, weightlifting. You say you found weightlifting. Obviously, the yard was a great environment to find it. You're working with Glenn Penley at the moment as well. Okay, that's also phenomenal.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So maybe walk us through why weightlifting. Did it just come easily to you because of your base? How did you find Glenn? What is he? How deep is his involvement with you? And we can maybe talk about some of the politics of SA weightlifting as well.
Yeah, weightlifting, it was big. When I started CrossFit, I felt like I was just doing weightlifting at start. I was just learning how to snatch and clean jerk, and just trying to get stronger, squats, deadlifts, and overhead work and stuff like that. So, but yeah, there's something about the sport. It's really cool to be able to, you know, jump onto a platform and try and lift heavier and heavier and heavier. It's very rewarding. I think that's why a lot of people have moved from a sport like CrossFit into weightlifting, because it's a lot more realistic. If you're working 8 to 5, you know, the competitions are more manageable, the results are there. You can progress yourself starting from the bar and then all of a sudden snatching 80. So yeah, I really enjoy the sport. For me, getting stronger was really something that yeah, it just gave me a lot more purpose as a female, to realize I don't have to just focus on how good I look, but you know, my body can do some crazy things, you know.
And still look feminine as well.
Yes.
It's not, you don't all of a sudden look like a man.
No, I don't want to look like a man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the sport.
So you would definitely push more women into weightlifting.
Yeah, it doesn't make you bulky. Seriously, any girl that tells me that
I heard
they don't
cupcakes
want
make you bulky though.
that cupcakes definitely work in the bulk division. But like, I hear so many women go, I don't want to squat heavy because my thighs are going to be big, and I was one of those. I never wanted to squat heavy until I squatted 150, and I was like, my quads were the smallest. I still fitted into my jeans that I wore on my trick. So, you know, for me, just the sport, it's very rewarding. It's awesome to be strong, to you know, and it's measurable. So you don't always have to go to a competition and you can't do anything. You snatch, you clean, you jerk. The barbell doesn't lie. You can either lift it or you can't lift it. So yeah, for me, it's a brutal sport. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of hard work, and I think getting the technique down is like the most important thing to do when you start in a sport like that. But I think locally, there's been a big growth in weightlifting thanks to CrossFit. Yeah, and it's fun. It's really fun.
I think that is the nice thing about the sport, is you can't really hide. Either
No.
you can lift it or you can't.
The barbell
Yeah,
doesn't
the numbers
lie.
are the
You're
numbers.
going to get the weight or you're not going to get the weight, and yeah, it's fun. I don't know if it's something that I would do full time. It's not something that I enjoy. I enjoy doing the variety in CrossFit, but
And
you know,
more community based, I'm sure.
yeah, weightlifting is very lonely. It's not very big here, so I got a big shock when I went to Commonwealth Champs and I saw actually how big the sport is and how good the girls are, because you really think, oh cool, I snatch 80, 85, you know, I'm a hero, and then you get there and the girl's powering 100 kilos and
Yeah.
she's tiny.
Yeah,
So-
South African numbers are definitely, we're quite a few years behind the international scene. But I mean, the more we push in, the more we're going to grow.
Yeah,
And the more athletes like you go over and then come back and share,
Yeah.
the more we can get more athletes there.
So I do think that the level of coaching in weightlifting will have to get better. There's not really local coaches that can get you up to that standard. In my personal opinion, I don't think that they've got the experience or have, you know, even just in a competition environment. I got a big fright when I was at Commonwealth Champs of how it all works and, you know, the game behind it. So I think that's why I reached out to Glenn Penley. I just do his programming. We chat a lot via Instagram and emails. He's an email kind of person in very big letters.
That's amazing.
So yeah, he's been very, very cool. He's got high ambitions for me as a weightlifter. I just need to put in the work and then decide if it's something that I want to pursue.
Yes.
But yeah, he's been very cool. He's been programming for me since I was going to go to Commonwealth Champs last year. About 6 weeks before Commonwealth Champs, he programmed for me. And then I was going to do World Champs last year, which I didn't end up doing. So he's been programming for me now up until Commonwealth Games. So we'll see how it goes.
Do you find that it's been a lot of work, as much work as it was for CrossFit, or has this kind of just, you've been in the position where you've slid into it? Do you have to work as hard for the weightlifting is what I'm asking?
No, I don't have to work
Personally.
as hard for the weightlifting. It depends how well you want to do. Like, listen, I look at the girls that I'm going to go and compete against. I'm not competing in the weight category that I want to. I would have liked to compete in the 58, so I'm competing in the 69s and under. I'm not even, I need to gain 2 kilos to be able to compete in that division still. So, no, it's not as hard work for me, but I do believe if you want to get to that next level or be like, you know, competitive internationally, I would have to train a lot harder and do it full time.
Yes.
And yeah, for me, like I said, this year is just about living a little bit and being a little bit more balanced. So when I get my training in, I get it in. Normally I would not miss a training session, but this year I've been a lot more flexible on myself. So I'm going there to enjoy the experience, and I'll see if I enjoy it and it's something that I want to pursue, I'll put my head down and work for it. Maybe Olympics, who knows? But right now I just want to go and have fun, see what I can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And make us proud.
And make weight, first of all.
Wait, cupcakes. We just spoke about this. Cupcakes are the way.
We've spoken quite a bit about training, I think, and what you've been up to. But let's maybe chat about what's going on now. So, what are your focuses on now? We spoke a bit
in the future?
Yeah, we spoke a bit prior. Say you're working with quite specific groups on one-on-one levels. So, give us a bit of about what's going on
right
there.
now I'm managing the yard athletic and coaching there in the mornings and evenings, working with individuals that are obese, very overweight, so just help a lot of kids.
What attracted you to that?
I just feel like I might not be the best trainer, but I know how, and it sounds bad, not in a vindictive way, but how to manipulate someone into believing that they can change their life. So for me, it's more, I'm the type of person that really invests in an individual, what's going on in their life. And once I form that relationship, you know, I can really get the best out of them in terms of their training and their diet. So I've got a lot of time for people. I've got a lot of time for people that don't want to be lazy and that want to change their life and their lifestyle. So yeah, if I can help people do that and live better, be happier, you know, that's something that's very rewarding for me. So I would love to get someone to be better at CrossFit as well, but the weight loss and fat loss stuff is really something that I've got a passion for, and I would love to work with more kids on that matter.
It's not hard working with kids because you kind of have to convince their parents that they need to start eating right and doing the right thing instead of
I think it's like many families. It's the same when a mother comes to you and goes like, listen, I'm overweight, I'm unhappy, and I'm unhealthy. The whole family kind of needs to make the change. So I chat a lot with the parents as well. I think the biggest thing is that there's something more wrong than just the diet and the training, and that's when you can be someone's friend. You know, it has happened where you can't connect to a person on that level. So then I'm not the right trainer for them. So most of my clients that come in, you know, we have a close relationship. We talk about everything because there's always something else that's wrong, especially in women because we're emotional eaters. So once you can get to that and people can realize, you know, life is tough, it's hard, it's going to throw its punches. A lot of people just settle with that though. They don't. I was actually listening to something yesterday. You know, bad stuff happens, shit happens in life, and I think it is the way that you react to the situation and take control of the situation and step up from there, how it's going to end up. A lot of people just sit there and stay in the dumps and just accept that this is how life is going to be and settle for those things. I'm not the type of person that settles for stuff in my life, and I think if I can share that with people and show them, like, listen, I've also gone through that. I've also, you know, been through a divorce, had parents that divorced, been through hard times, had no money, failed. You know, it happens to all of us, and I think once you stop taking the punches and accepting it and doing something about it, you know, things can definitely change.
I think that's quite a nice outlook, and it relates on both ways. So you're on a private level, that's the way you attack life. But people very often try to go through these things alone, and they don't realize that especially from, as we could call ourselves, health professionals or healthcare professionals, but we are, even as a personal trainer or strength and conditioning coach, you can make a huge impact on someone's life, and all they need to do is just walk into your door and ask for help. And you're not going to try to maybe solve their full psychological issue, but you're just a point of contact that can start them in the right direction, and you're a professional, you know what you're doing.
You know, I think that we're in a positive environment.
Yeah.
We're surrounded with positive people that drive, that are successful, that aren't lazy, that want to pursue something. So for me, it's like every day when I wake up, I'm like, what can I do today? How can I get better? What can I achieve? How can I help someone else? So I think a lot of people just kind of go through life. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to be overweight. It's okay to be unhappy. It's okay to settle in a shit relationship or a shitty job. And I think once you surround yourself with people that go like, it's not okay. There's so much more to life than that. You're healthy, you can walk, you don't have, not sitting in a hospital, don't have cancer, there is something that you can do about it. And if they just walk into the door and have a conversation with someone like us, they can soon realize, I know I've had that. I've had someone that was like, I just want to die, I don't want to live anymore, my girlfriend broke up with me and left me, and then, there's so much more to life. And I think a lot of people need to see the positive things in hard situations in life, and once you learn through that and see the positive in it, you are going to be directed in where you need to be in your life. So, I think a lot of people just need to walk into a place and you'll find the right person. I might not be the right person for every person that is going through difficult times, that is overweight, that is obese, that can't control the eating, but there is a right person out there for you, and we're all willing to help, so they need to take the steps that we can't
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. So you're working with kids as well, and you're obviously quite a big role model for women. In South Africa, obviously, and internationally. Do you find yourself wanting to work with other women? How do you use your power? like Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's definitely helped me grow my brand as a person, as a trainer, as an influencer in terms of like fitness, CrossFit, weightlifting. And I think just by being open and sharing and having time for these people that, I have so many people that have messaged me throughout the open and just said, thank you, Hospitality Valley especially, thanks for that tip, thanks for helping me out with that, so I think just being able to share what I've been through. I've had a tough life growing up, I've had tough situations that I've dealt with, so, life, it's just like I say, life isn't easy, it's about how you approach it and the people that you surround yourself with, so I definitely would want to, work with other women, help them, get to their best or achieve what they wanted to do. It is possible. You just need to, be in the right place, surround yourself with the right people. Big passion for kids. Would like to train up someone to do, CrossFit, one day.
Have you got any hopefuls?
Not yet. I'm
Okay.
possibly being a box owner soon, so we'll be pursuing CrossFit more. Soon and developing that and coaching more and being involved in CrossFit more, because the yard effect is obviously not a CrossFit gym, but I'll be involved with both. I'm not going to leave the yard. It's been some place where I've learned a lot, developed and become the person that I am today, so we'll definitely be involved in both. And then
What's the time frame on that?
I'll know in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so you can't give us too many details.
No, I can't give you too many details, but box owner.
Area? Can you give us area?
Area. Pretoria.
Okay, Pretoria. That's in the capital. In the capital. So.
Now we have to drive so far to get a training session in.
Yes. But
No,
it'll be
you're gonna have to come to us,
I'll
eh?
visit.
You don't
I'll
have to wear your
visit.
shoes, like I said. It's in the south of Joburg,
Alberton.
I'll visit.
Alberton.
Not from there. Although I did grow up there.
Yeah, don't start, eh?
Don't
Come
start,
on,
Bruce.
don't start. How are we doing with time there? Okay, we're around
we're
about
about
time.
10
Yeah.
minutes.
Let's get some quick
You want some
fires.
quick fires?
Yeah.
Okay. Go.
Do you have a daily quote that you think about? Or a daily quote or quote that you think about?
Mantra to
often?
live by.
Yeah.
Don't die before you're dead.
Oh,
Oh, that's deep.
oh, that's deep. I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down.
Okay.
Rubes, any quick fires there?
Favorite workouts in the Open 2018?
The double-hander, muscle up, and overhead squat one. I don't know. it's
Muscle ups.
fun. First of all, it's got muscle ups in. I love double-handers. And God, it was just something that really challenged me immensely, just to put my head down and go. It
That
was
was
fun.
so bad for me.
I will finish it one day.
So
We know
bad
my
for me.
aerobic capacity is better.
Let's make
How was
some.
that for you, Dwayne?
Let's make some men know. You know, I'm not the fittest person right now. Let's not
was
poke.
bad.
Don't poke the bear.
That's okay too.
It's fine. I'm at peace with it.
Yeah.
I'm at peace with it. Lift heavy. enjoy life.
That's it.
Let's make some men sad. What's your squat? Back squat.
155.
155. I don't need to write these down.
So why are you writing that?
What's your deadlift?
Oh, my deadlift is probably my weakest movement. I think I did a 163.
That's not bad.
Not too bad, but I would like a 180.
At a weight of 60 kilos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
it's
would like a 180.
so it's more than double body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, much more.
Oh, well, it should be 180.
Okay.
Snatch.
90.
And clean and jerk?
108. Clean
And
110, but I haven't.
what do you
I
hope-
actually jerked 112 out there, but I haven't put it together.
What are the numbers for the Commonwealth Games?
200 total.
Okay. So however you
How
get
did I
there.
get this? Actually, I just want to get 6 out of 6 lifts. I haven't trained as hard as I wanted to, but I get 6 out of 6 lifts and be smart about how I approach it, then I'll be good.
So hit the 90, hit the 110.
Yes. Well, actually, I would rather do 92 and a 108. My clean's not as strong as my snatch.
Okay.
Let's go another round. Do you read?
Do you read anything?
I do.
If
but
you don't,
like
we
in
can-
waves of reading.
Okay,
Like,
well, we can-
yesterday I read a little bit of Thomas Plummer's business coaching stuff, and then I won't read for a while.
So let's go. What podcasts or reading material, any learning material that you could pass on to the
Someone
viewers?
else.
No, I'm not the best example of that.
Go
You can read
Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram. I think, I'm such a random reader. Like, I'll think about a topic and I'll just go and Google, who I can read the stuff about. Actually, Scott is probably when I need to get information from, I'll probably ask him, like, no, what should I read? Who should I follow? And stuff like that. So, read and podcast, yeah. not-
Follow Scott. Ask Scott.
Ask Scott.
Yes, we'll ask Scott.
Ask Scott. I don't have one yet.
Most inspirational person for you,
Most inspirational person.
or aspirational.
Let me think about that one.
3, 2. Okay, I'll give you one, but this one's easy. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs. Okay, now
Favorite
you have to
food?
tell us
Favorite
your
food?
most inspirational person.
Someone that really inspires me.
No, it doesn't have to be sport related.
Yeah, it's not. I think there is obviously multiple people.
If you have 3 people, you can give us the best piece of each of those 3 people.
I'm not going to say a person's name, but I
Okay.
think, I've been very fortunate to meet awesome athletes and people in my life that just don't settle, don't give up, and always, stay humbled and not polite. And I think that's some stuff that really inspires me to be a better person every day and to give that to other people.
Stay humble, stay polite,
Don't settle.
don't
Be
settle,
positive.
be positive.
Wake up every day, because we're all alive, and I think a lot of people just wake up and just go through the motions and stuff. Like, actually, last year when I went to Bali, that's also when I had a big shift in my life. Not last year, the year
Oh, is that
before.
when you went to Diane?
Yes.
Oh, damn it, I wanted to ask him. Okay, let's start again. Let's start the podcast
So
again.
that's actually where I had a big shift in my life. I met people there that are like 54 and 60 and, have kids and are, also tired, married, but they were so alive. They were so positive. I got there and I was like, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to just focus on Grand Games qualifier and I'm going to be boring. And then this one guy came to me and said to me, like, listen, but you're here now. Like, you're not there. You're here, have fun with us. And I actually had the best time of my life. And I realized that I was placing my happiness on how I do my CrossFit, and that kind of became the person who I am. And it really isn't. Like, my happiness isn't linked to how I perform on my CrossFit and what someone's opinion is about me and how I perform. And, for me, it's just really about, loving the people around me, having good friends, good company, and enjoying every day. And I think once you realize that life is about more than just being the best and winning in competition and whatnot, then
What happens when you win that competition? Then it's won and it's over.
Yeah,
Then the
it's
happiness
like-
with it is gone.
Yeah, and for me now, imagine I can't do CrossFit again, I can't compete. Who am I as a person? Who are my friends that I always
Yes.
say no to? Don't go to parties, don't go to weddings, don't travel with them and stuff like that. I just figured out that there was more to life when I went to Bali, so I met some awesome people and made some awesome friends.
Yeah, I think that's awesome to close on. Doesn't get better. Don't die before you're dead. Okay, we'll stick with that one.
That's pretty much all the 5 things.
That's all the 5 things. Thank you so much for allowing us to come chat to you. It's been a
We'll see you
joy.
again.
Yes, we'll definitely see you again.
See you when you get back.
We'll catch up after the Commonwealth and see what you're up to. And I think we'll drag you to our side this time.
Definitely, I'll see you guys there.
So that's Movement Crew Lifestyle, episode 5. If you like what you've seen, which I know you have, click subscribe in one of those. I'll figure it out eventually. It's on one of those sites. So subscribe, catch our next podcast, and we'll have some interesting stuff. Cheers.
See you later.
Thanks, guys. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that was really nice, eh? The
Could have
time goes so
probably
quick,
sat
eh?
here for another 4 hours.
This is the hardest thing, is keeping it within